Hello everyone, my name is Dorian and welcome to another track guide with the F3. We are at COTA, Circuits of the Americas. And yeah, this is not an easy track, is it? My best lap time here is a 58.773. I kind of screwed it up towards the end, lost about 4/10, but it was very hard for me to reproduce it, so I'm just going to go ahead with that lap and show you my mistakes as well. And as always, leave a like, subscribe if you enjoyed this video, leave a comment, or jump into my Discord to let me know what you think I can improve. But yeah, so I'm just going to show you guys the lap very quickly, and then I'm going to go over corner by corner, showing you guys my tips and tricks, my braking points, and all that for this circuit. That's it. Let's get on the track. Okay, so coming up to turn number one, the braking point here is right before the white marker on the road. You actually brake super late here. Let me show you guys how late it really is. I would say around 10 meters before is when you start braking. Initially start by braking very hard, around 60-70%, and then immediately start letting off when you reach this crest, because the car will get lighter as you go over it, and you don't want to start locking up or losing the rear end. That's very important for this corner. So I'm letting off the brakes all the way down to second gear. Now, looking for the apex here. Finally, unlike the LMP2, I can actually see the apex, and that's kind of refreshing. I'm trying to clip it, but I might not make it. I'll be very close to it though, so it won't be a huge difference. This is actually the fastest way for me to go around this corner. Trying to hug it, taking it as a very late apex. Notice how much of the corner I'm actually completing before I'm even touching the apex. So over 50% of the corner has been kind of, the car has already turned around towards the exit as I'm hitting the apex or getting close to it. And I'm trying to utilize all of the track in second gear, being very neutral right now, trying to make sure the back end doesn't step out. And I'm going to slowly come back to the throttle, 50%, 60%, and back to 100 when I feel like the back end is settled down. And now I'm just gonna take this corner, the next one, really flat out. You don't need to use all of the track, just hug the inside, make sure you take the shortest route possible. Let me show you guys the inside here. So this is a vital point where you wanna carry as much speed as possible and make sure your inputs are actually very subtle. So I'm gonna take it slow for you guys. Kind of a late apex here, so I'm apexing late here just to set myself with a wide approach for this one. No throttle almost, coming back to it a little bit, 40-50%. Lifting again, small brake, very short brake into fourth gear. I'm just trying to settle the car down, put some weight on the front wheels so it'll be easier for me to chuck it in. I'm trying to be as neutral as possible. Fourth gear here, coming back to the throttle right after the apex, very subtly. And I got this double apex coming up ahead of me. So I'm gonna clip the first part, let the car go wide, and start looking. About halfway through, I'm gonna start looking for the second apex. And I wanna stick to it and stay on the inside. Don't let the car go wide here. You wanna set it up for the next corner. So I'm coming back slightly to the right of the middle of the track, and I'm already correcting very quickly to the right, using as much track as I can. I could have used a little bit more. I could have used the curb on the outside there, but it was good enough. Now I'm turning in very early, and I'm actually aiming towards the bump stop. And the reason you definitely don't want to touch it, but the reason I'm aiming towards it is because the car tends to understeer as you dip down here. So if you aim towards it, you're gonna clip this apex very nicely. See, I got my left wheel pretty much touching the left curb where I want it. I'm still in 4th gear. And I'm being very gentle, coming back to the middle of the track, full throttle, and I'm immediately starting to brake towards this corner. I want to hug the inside here in 3rd gear. I'm not gonna let it go wide under any circumstances, and I'm gonna start exiting the corner right before the curb runs out, going back to full throttle. I mean, technically you want to stay full throttle the whole way through. I lifted just a little bit because I was chicken, but you want to be flat out here. If you have to lift just a tiny bit to make sure the back end doesn't kick out, because the 1X there is pretty crucial, you can feel free to do that. Now coming up to this hairpin. Now the braking point here is what's gonna matter the most. If you brake late, you're gonna turn in late, and that's what you want to do. You want to turn in late here. Again, just like turn number 1, you want to be able to complete most of the corner before you even reach the apex. So I'm braking very late, around, I don't know, 5-10 meters after the white line, and I'm staying in a straight line. I'm not gonna start turning in. I'm gonna turn in very late. I'm gonna start applying a little bit of pressure on my right wheels, let the car know I'm gonna start turning in hard, prepare the suspension for that motion, and I'm gonna look for the apex, look to put my front wheel and my left wheel right on it as I get to it. And I'm already gonna be in with the throttle. Look at how much of the corner I've completed by the time I got here. See, you can clearly see that I've completed 60-70% of my turn in by the time I got to the apex. A very late apex then, and that will allow me to have a really good exit here using all of the track. Any more than this is a 1X. Keep in mind, you don't want to get your left wheels over the white line. That's gonna be trouble. And just gonna stick to the right the whole straight. Very simple stuff. And let's look for the braking point here. Okay, so my braking point is this white line, the 100. You got the 100 sign, you got the white line here. I'm braking just before it, ever so slightly before it. As you can see, almost when my fender or you know, splitter approaches it. Braking very hard, 80%, but immediately lifting off because you don't want to be locking up. You got so much downforce, you can slam the brakes for a very brief moment, and then immediately you're gonna have to tread off and just start trail braking into 2nd gear. I'm turning in quite late. I'm trying to carry as much speed as I can here. I'm doing 87, probably more speed to carry around here. And right as I reach the apex, I'm going to start looking for the throttle to settle the back end down. You don't want to oversteer on the exit here, and the throttle really helps mitigate that, so keep that in mind. Using as much track as I can on the exit. I'm already full throttle. I'm being quite aggressive because as soon as you hit the throttle, the back end settles down and the car is fine, as long as you use 2nd gear. And I'm already correcting it towards the next corner. Not much of a braking point here. This kind of goes by feel. I'm looking at the corner. I'm kind of guessing where I need to brake here. But if you want some sort of indication, I'm going to start braking right around here. All right. And I'm not braking very harshly, 40% into 2nd gear. And I'm going to look for the apex on the inside, flip it nicely, and stay in the middle of the track. Don't let the car run too wide. You want to take the shortest route possible here. It's not going to give you any time. In fact, you're going to lose time if you let the car go too wide. Flat out, I had to lift here. It cost me a bunch of time. Keep that in mind. You want to be flat out here. It's very much possible. The thing is, I'm gonna screw up everything from this point on besides the final corner. And the reason for that is because I overheated my rear tires like crazy. I was doing several fast laps in a row, and even though I did a cool down lap before this one, the rear tires were still pretty hot. So you really want to consider maintaining your rear tires here. Small lifts on the high speed corners, that's gonna help you a lot. Okay, so I lost the back end a little bit, so I had to lift, but still third gear, flat out. My braking point, I mean, I'm braking quite early here because I'm always worried about my approach. I don't want to go too wide. I don't want to understeer. I don't want to lock up the brakes. So I'm braking right before the first apex here. Letting the car go wide into first gear, a very late first gear, obviously. You want to keep it in the second, and as soon as you really have to turn in the car, that's when I put it in first gear. But the problem is the back end was getting too slippery for me, and you'll see right now that I'm going to lose the back end. That's going to cost me around 2.5 tenths and at this very moment, and I corrected it and I saved it, but 2.5 tenths here and another 10.5 throughout the whole sector because I'm just not carrying as much speed. So, you know, definitely give a lot of emphasis for this corner. Maintain your rear tires. That's going to be crucial for the race. Now, I'm intentionally missing the first apex, as you should here. And I want to clip the second one. I want to clip the second one and stay tight. Look at my micro corrections. I'm lifting here because I know I don't have the rear tires. You can stay flat out here. But if you lift here consistently, if this is the kind of line you're going to take through the race, you're going to save your rear tires so much. So try to do it as I do it for the race at least. Maybe in qualifying on your third lap. Definitely go for it. Keep it flat out. The car can handle it. You just got to make these micro corrections. Make sure the back end doesn't step out. So you open the wheel a little bit and then you turn in. You open the wheel a little bit and you turn in. Let's take a look at that. I'm trying to hug the inside as much as I can into fifth gear at this point. Trying to take the shortest route possible. That's where all the rubber is as well. No braking point here, so I'm going to show you guys where I braked. Right around here. A little bit of overlap, not brake, but right around here. Maybe this can be your braking point. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you guys. Pretty empty part of the track here. I'm going to lower it down to fourth gear. I'm going to shift down to fourth gear. And I'm going to look to clip this apex, cut it as much as I can. You can actually cut it quite a bit more. You can put your left wheel right on this yellow bump stop. It's not really a bump stop. It doesn't really upset the car. So you can do that. But my intention here is just to make sure the car is neutral. I don't want the back end to kick out. And I don't want to understeer on the exit. I'm going to come back to the throttle subtly. 80-90%, and then I'm going to go full throttle into the final corner. Brake before the white line, always before. I braked a little early. I think I can brake tiny bit later than that, but as you can see, you got this as a braking marker. So maybe as soon as that disappears from your field of view, you want to start braking. Like right around here is where I would recommend as a good braking point. I braked a tiny bit early, but that did give me quite a lot of time on the exit. I gained about 1.5 tenths on the exit here by braking extra early, but I do believe you can gain that by braking even a little bit later. So braking very hard. Technically, I usually take this corner in third gear. This time, for some reason, it felt like I should be using second. So what I did, I shifted down to second. And I want to look for the point where I shifted down. Okay, so this is the downshift here. You can see I shifted down into second as I started to turn in, but no throttle with second gear, only third gear. So shift down to second, let the car hit the apex, and I'm gonna upshift as soon as I hit the apex, or slightly before it, because I didn't use any throttle with second gear. Third gear on the exit, maximizing how much curb I can cut. And having a good exit, being very gentle with the throttle. I'm not trying to floor it too much. I just want to carry the speed and get a decent exit towards the main straight. And that will be 1:58.773. Hope you guys enjoyed this track guide. If you did, leave a like, subscribe. I'll do all those good things, and maybe stop over my Discord channel and you know, say hello and ask questions and give me tips, what you guys think. That'll be awesome. Have a great day. Bye bye.